All right, folks, welcome back to the TCI studio here with Carter Raffield. Everybody knows him from Clemson baseball. Came in as a top 50 national prospect. Let's go back to that point first, Carter. You had a chance to go, get drafted.
Yes, sir.
Go on and play pro ball. Made the decision to come into Clemson. We'll get to the injury stuff in a little bit, but talk to us through that first process and why you decided to come to Clemson and not take the pro route.
Yeah, 100%. So coming out of high school, I knew my arm was bothering me. I felt like I had an injury coming upon me. Didn't know what it was for sure. In the beginning, we just thought it was some tendonitis pain. So I took off 3/4 my senior year in high school, and eventually I figured it was best for me if I actually opted out of the draft right beforehand. I'm sure I could have went somewhere, but that opportunity didn't arise, therefore, because I opted out. So I decided to come to Clemson. It was a lot of prayer for me, a lot of just talking over with my family, my friends, and some of my travel ball coaches. And I said, well, I want to go somewhere where I'm going to pitch, develop myself, and become, a better version of myself on and off the field. And that's pretty much the whole decision process of me coming to Clemson. So.
All right, so you come into Clemson, very highly regarded. First thing you had to do then is go through that injury process.
Yes, sir.
Which sounds like you kind of felt coming on.
Yeah, so when I first got here, my elbow still bothered me a little bit. So I took off the whole summer, just trying to rest my arm to get ready for the fall and all these scrimmages we'd have to play for, my bullpens and games that I'm going to be throwing in. And we get start throwing back in August a little bit when we report back for individual assessments and drills. And start back throwing. I'm feeling okay. Started lengthening out a little bit, put a little bit more effort behind the ball when I throw, and I'm starting to feel that same pain again. And our trainer, Travis Johnson, decides, okay, it's on the inside of your elbow. Let's just be safe, get an MRI. And so we did that, and they said it looks like a strain, maybe a slight tear. So therefore, we got a PRP injection. And after that, had 6 weeks off, and started back throwing again. And then, like I said again, it felt fine. The PRP made me feel a little bit better. Then I started, airing it out a little bit more, putting some more juice behind the ball. Then I'll never forget the day. This was like the end of November, and I throw a flat ground. It's my first flat ground I throw here, and throwing. It's not feeling that good, but also, it's a part of being a baseball player. You're gonna have a little pain every now and then, but sometimes you can fight through it, and sometimes there's pain. You just can't do that. And when that happened, I had a lot of people around, like some of my teammates watching me. My trainer looked at me, Travis, and he was like, how do you feel? I was like, oh yeah, I feel fine. And as I didn't want to say it for the whole entire team, like, dude, this hurts, because I'm a freshman. I want to, look and know what I'm doing a little bit. So did that. Then I get done, and my arm starts to really hurt me. And it starts to really bother me again. Same spot, same sharp pain. And I walked back in Travis's room, and I sat him down. I was like, look, Trav, I'm gonna be honest with you. My arm's really bothering me. It still hurts. Then he didn't really have nothing to say. We just kind of sat there in silence for a little bit. He goes, look, I know this is what you don't want to hear, but next steps for you to have Tommy John. It was like, I think this is more of a strain. There's more of a slight tear, and eventually December 9th of 2018, they cut me open, had Tommy John. Eventually, my ligament was like 75 to 80% torn, so I had to get it anyways, and that's where that whole process started.
All right, so then you obviously delayed kind of getting you to the point where you hoped to be when you first came into Clemson. Talk to us about once you did get a chance to pitch. Obviously, this year you wish you could have pitched more.
Yes,
Went
sir.
through some other, injury things and other things. Just, what was your experience like at Clemson when you were healthy enough to get out there on the mound?
It was awesome. It's a great atmosphere to play in. I love being out there. I just love playing baseball in general. That's what I've been doing since I was 5 years old, and I still love it just as much as I did then. The whole Clemson experience for me has been phenomenal. It's been great. Super thankful for everyone who's been with me throughout this journey and this process. Coach Lee, Coach C, LaCroix, volunteer coach Jared Broughton, and just all the teammates. The relationships I developed with them, everybody behind them. Just really me taking the mound for the first time, which was last year, 2020, for the season got cut versus our opening weekend in Liberty, and I'll never forget that day. It was a pretty big monumental day for me. I'll never forget, like, my heart was beating so much. I was warming up in the pen, I was a little wild, and I was like, oh gosh, here we go again. And but I get out there, have 2 strikeouts, go 3 up, 3 down, and it was just like, wow, that was such a relief. It was phenomenal. And then we throw a little bit more throughout the season. I'm just throwing every single weekend in relief, feeling super well, and season gets cut. And so there goes like a whole season of me trying to get back in the rhythm of things and right of everything. Then this season comes upon, and in my eyes, I'm looking to fulfill a big role, especially from losing 2 starters last year, Sam Weatherly and Mr. Strider. And they started me off of weekdays. The second weekend, I started versus Notre Dame. Go like 2.5, 3 innings on that. Not what I wanted to, but it was on 4 days of rest, and I was trying to just go out there and compete. But the season didn't really turn out how I wanted it to. At the end of the day, that's baseball. You're never gonna have your best stuff all the time, but you got to work with what you got. And for me, God works in mysterious ways. He shows you things you need to work on. This season was a big learning standpoint for me, because this was the first time I really got back in the swing of things. Me trying to find my routine, me trying to find my whole mechanics, location, everything. And it didn't turn out how I wanted it to, but that's fine. I'm thankful for everything that happened. For me, I always try to take the good from the bad, and if you take more good than bad, then that's where you learn. So.
All right, you talked about, last season you got rolling there a little bit, and then COVID comes along, bam, you guys were 14-3 or whatever, off to a great start. How tough was it to go through that last year, and then just this year, not as many fans in the stand, and just all the COVID testing and everything you guys had to go through?
Definitely a whole lot different than last year. It was a big atmosphere change for us. We're used to having anywhere between 1,000 to 5,000 people in the stands just watching us, whether it's a midweek on the weekend. And we come back, and our first opening day, I don't even know how many people was there. It felt like 50 people were there, because it's a pretty big stadium. There's just people spread out, and I'm like, all right, this is a little different, but you know what? I'm excited to be back. We're excited to play, but we start off 14-3, have a good season rolling in 2020. Then all of a sudden, boom, college baseball shut down, and it was heartbreaking, because that team right there was something special to me in my eyes. It's the bonds we had with everybody going, such good starters rolling. The relief pitchers going well, the bats are starting to come along as well, and it just ends. And that was just kind of like a bummer for everybody, but you know what, things happen for a reason. And then COVID upcoming this season, all the testing and everything, it was a little abnormal. Obviously, we've never been through something like this with a pandemic, and that happens, and we eventually just, you just kind of learn to deal with it. It's just one of those things you try to get used to, and if you don't, you just still do it day by day, routine, and take the good from the bad. It was a little different, but at the end of the day, we get to play baseball. So.
All right. I've been asking all the guys that come in here. Obviously, nobody's happy with how the season went. Nobody's happy with where the program is. From a player's perspective, obviously we hear a lot from the media and other talking heads about, this is what you need to do to fix it. But from a player's perspective, a guy that's there every day, what do you think needs to change to get Clemson to where they'd like to be?
Personally, I just believe it's, just people need to be bought in. From a player's perspective, I think there needs to be a little bit more of an atmosphere change. I think last year it was phenomenal in how it was. And, with the whole pandemic, I'm not pointing fingers, and I'm not going to blame anybody whatsoever, and I never will. I think everybody should take ownership for their own actions. But, like I said, this is one of those things, baseball, anybody can get hot, anybody can get cold for a long period of time, short period of time. That's how it happens. I just think we just go out there and just sit back and enjoy playing baseball. At the end of the day, that's what you've got to do. And no matter what level you're playing at, nothing's going to change. You do the same stuff to get you here, and you want to do the same stuff to get you to the next level. So I think just going out there every day, just wanting to be there and wanting to play, and just having a smile on your face no matter what. You do it because you love it. You do it because you have fun. It's also a business too, and you gotta, coaches bring you in, you want to double their return, because they're obviously, scholarship here, scholarship there. All right, hey, I'm trying to give you my best out of everything. And obviously that didn't go well this year, but that's a part of the process. That's a part of the journey.
Well, you talked about, the individual part. Obviously, it's a team sport, and you want your team to do well, but obviously you also got a future you're thinking about, wanting to play professional baseball, and obviously you've made a decision for next year to try to go somewhere where you think you can help that cause.
Yes, sir.
Talk to us a little bit about that process.
So pretty much the whole decision behind me transferring is, I've been out for a while. This season was the first time I really got back in the swing of things. I pitched a lot at the beginning of the season. I had some good games, had some not so good games. And there was about a month, I think, from college to Charleston until I started versus South Carolina in the third game of the series. That was a whole month since I've been throwing, so it was really hard for me to get back on a routine, trying to find something right then and there. And so this season's kind of been out of whack for me a little bit. And right now, I think what's best for me is to go somewhere and just kind of clear my mind a little bit, get back in a routine of things, go somewhere I'll be guaranteed innings, and I'll be able to win for another team. I always wish Clemson the best of luck. It'll be always such dear to my heart. The friendships, the relationships I made here have been nothing but great, and I'm so thankful for that. And I wish nothing but the best of luck to the team, to the coaches, and everybody else around here, even outside of baseball as well. But for me, it's more of a business standpoint. I got to go somewhere where I think I can better myself as a pitcher, as a person, and I got to get innings in, and I just got to find my routine and sit there and go. So.
I know Robleski went through a similar process.
Yes, sir.
And obviously, he had a good start there at Oklahoma State this year. Did you talk to him at all about that process? And how it worked out for him?
Not too much. I've always tried to keep up with him a little bit because me and Justin Robleski, we were in together freshman year. It was me and Adam Hackenberg. So I always try to keep up with Justin. We called him Robo, and I always try to keep up with Robo a little bit throughout the year. He did really well. I know he transferred to a JUCO. I'm pretty sure it was SCF in Florida. Did really well there, and obviously gets to go to Oklahoma and play there. Oklahoma State does very well. I'm pretty sure he was eventually their Saturday guy, and doing well. But I think just by knowing Justin and what kind of person he is, which is a great guy, it was very beneficial for him to go somewhere just to clear his head, get back to the basics, do the things he loves, and just start pitching again how he knows he can pitch. So,
all right, last question for you. Obviously, as you move on from Clemson, you got some great memories. What are some of your favorite memories that you'll have of Clemson as you move on? Some you probably can't share, but what are some of the ones you can share with the general public?
Honestly, just being with the guys, just hanging out in the locker room, just, goofing off a little bit, enjoying, being on the field with them as well, being off the field with them, just hanging out at each other's house, just having a little bit of fun, just kicking back and relaxing. I will never, change that for anything. And the people I met outside of baseball too, because those are some of my dearest friends as well. So I would not trade the relationships, the memories we'd have, the late nights, just laughing and giggling, just hanging out, and just enjoy being each other, and honestly just building such a great relationship with people. And, those are things that I'll cherish for the rest of my life. Also, Spencer Strider too, he went through Tommy John with me. I'll cherish that with him because he really took me under his wing there and really helped me out.
Now.
Oh my gosh, I know. Yep. He's killing it right now. Yep. I'm pretty sure. I was reading some on Twitter, and they're like, yeah, Spencer Strider just played his worst game of his professional outing. It was like 5 innings, 8 Ks, 2 walks, 1 hit, no one runs. I was like, all right, yeah. That's about everything you need to know, which is a phenomenal stat line for 5 innings. And but I just wouldn't trade anything I have outside of baseball for here. And I'm super thankful for that. All the relationships, everybody's taking time, supporting me. It's been nothing but phenomenal. I wouldn't trade that for anything.
Awesome.
So,
well, Carter, thank you. We've enjoyed covering you at Clemson, talking to you as you came into Clemson, and we wish you best in the future.
Yes,
and hopefully where you do land, you'll be successful, and we'll look forward to following you in the major leagues one day.
Yes, sir. I certainly do appreciate it.
Thanks, Carter.
Thank y'all.